Michael Newton is an American hypnotherapist, a member of the American Association of Counseling Psychologists. He devoted more than 50 years to psychology and the connection between mental experiences and the physical condition of patients. Using the method of regressive hypnosis, he immersed a person in his past, long-forgotten experience. Memories of early childhood repressed into the subconscious have a traumatic effect on the human psyche, and this in turn leads to poor health and illness. Finding the root cause, that very painful memory, helped to eliminate the physical problem. But one day a man came to see him who complained of pain in his left side, and the doctors could not determine the cause. Michael Newton put this man into a trance and found out a very interesting fact: in a past life, his patient was a soldier in the First World War and was stabbed with a bayonet. And from this case began Michael Newton's research into the spiritual world. According to his version, the human mind can be imagined as three concentric circles, each smaller than the previous one and located inside the other, separated from the neighboring only by layers of mental consciousness, connected to each other. The first, outer layer is the thinking consciousness. The second layer is the subconscious, the third layer is what we call the superconscious mind. Here is the highest center of our ego, and at this level we represent the manifestation of a higher power. The superconscious is the center of our true essence and is complemented by the subconscious, which carries the memory of the numerous alter egos we acquired in our previous human bodies. The superconscious is not a level at all, but the soul as such. Among Michael Newton's patients, participants in these sessions, there were both very religious people and atheists, and generally people indifferent to spiritual matters. But as soon as they were immersed in a state of regressive hypnosis by regression, they all demonstrated a striking unity in their answers to questions about the spiritual world. They even used the same words. Based on their stories, Michael Newton built a model of the eternal world in which souls reside. According to him, the stories of patients contain elements of universal truths that are shared by the souls of all people living on Earth. That is why they are universal. It was these ideas of such numerous, different types of people that convinced me that their statements were plausible. I am not a religious person, but I believe that the place where we go after death is uniform in structure and management, and I came to the conviction that there is some grandiose plan for life on Earth and what we have after this life. Michael Newton outlined his experience of communicating with his patients in the most famous of his 3 books, Journey of Consciousness. The book is in the form of an account of interviews with people who have experienced a journey into the spiritual world. Anticipating the doubts of skeptics, he asks the question of the legitimacy of using regressive hypnosis as a source of information, and he himself gives an answer: people under hypnosis do not dream or hallucinate. In this case, in a state of controlled trance, we do not see dreams in their chronological sequence, as is usually the case, and we do not hallucinate. When subjects are brought into a state of trance, their brain waves slow down, i.e., they pass from the beta stage of the waking state through the meditative stage of alpha to various levels in the theta range. Theta is hypnosis, not sleep. When we sleep, we reach the final state of delta, when information from the brain enters the subconscious and pours out through our dreams. But at the theta stage, the conscious mind is not unconscious at all, so with all memory channels open, we can both receive and send information. People's testimonies about the subtle world were carefully checked, that is, they were compared with data obtained from other patients, so Michael Newton believes that fantasies and speculations are excluded. Since there are many documented materials that describe the experience of clinical death by people, Michael Newton compared this data with the sensations that his patients shared with him under the influence of regressive hypnosis. And here is what he writes: in the early stages of hypnotic regression of subjects to a previous life, their descriptions of mental passage through the process of dying in their past life do not contradict the stories of those people who were considered to have actually died for several minutes, but were then brought back to life again. The difference between these two groups of people is that the subjects under hypnosis do not remember the experience of their temporary death. That is, those who immersed themselves in a trance on purpose had nothing to worry about, unlike those who experienced clinical death. They already knew that they were not living their first life. What do the memories of life after life of people who talk about their experience of clinical death and the subjects who under hypnosis remember their death in a past life have in common? Both found that they saw their body from the outside, while they tried to touch solid objects, but could not feel them. Both reported that they were unable to start a conversation with the people they saw, because they simply did not respond to them. Both felt that some force was pulling them away from this world, and they felt relief and curiosity rather than fear. They all report a wonderful feeling of freedom and seeing a bright light. Some of my subjects see a blinding whiteness that completely envelopes them at the moment of death, while others see a bright light off to the side of the darker area through which they are being pulled. This phenomenon is known to the general public as going through a tunnel, said Mike Newton.